And now it's time for lunch. So Billy and the other children at the infant school, while learning to approach the primary skill of reading, writing and arithmetic, are also learning how to be members of a community, how to know good from evil, to be thoughtful for others. And their bodies are growing strong and healthy in happy surroundings.
My memories of the school meals service are amazingly positive and good for me, good for my friends, good for the council estate I lived on. But I've got a sense that it ain't like that now, though.
If the teacher saw that you had food left on your plate, you couldn't leave until you'd eaten everything, which I thought was outrageous.
We lived away from the school, so they had to make me stop at school. And I'm not sure that they ever knew how little I actually ate during the day.
It said on it, admit one free meal in very bold letters. Now, this was a source of great embarrassment.
If you could have that kind of community sense of lunch and sharing food, I just think that would go quite a long way to restoring a sense of well-being in schools.
The UK school meal service has been with us for 120 years, and over that history, it has faced a number of significant challenges. It has faced funding cuts, restructures, changes of government, problems with logistics, problems with recruitment, as well as an existential question as to whether it's even the role of government to feed school children or whether it's their parents' responsibility. And it's quite surprising that over 120 years, no comprehensive history has been written of the school meal service. We don't really know what worked in the past, we don't know what didn't work. So what happens is there's a short-termism in policy making with regard to the school meal service.
So the experiences of pupils, parents, teachers and catering staff members are largely absent from our understanding of the school meal service in the 20th century. And yet they have the power to offer us a rich insight, not only into the type of food provided and what kind of quality it was, but also people's emotional and psychological responses to it.
We're keen to discover the aims, achievements and limitations of the school meal service both in the past and the present and what it might look like in the future, particularly as the service is facing many cuts whilst also expanding simultaneously. Field Lane Primary School are one of our fantastic partner schools. They go above and beyond to create a food ethos across the school. They've been serving school meals since 1943 to children in the community. Many of those now live in the community and their children and grandchildren attend the school today.
Yeah, maybe this is like the old canteen.
Yeah.
So it's very small scale compared to the school now.
They must have really been quite interested in having locally produced food. That kind of fell out of fashion a bit throughout history of the kind of marketisation of school meals in the kind of 80s and onwards. But there seems to be quite a focus on local food again now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're growing on site here and they have the Soil Association Award, which is all about having locally produced food, knowing where the food comes from as well,
yes,
and what the kids might learn from that. Let's have a look at this book called The Dinner Ladies, published in 1987.
So we can see photos here of food being prepared on site, but from 1990 onwards, food was outsourced more often, so it would have been less common to see food prepared on site. We see a kind of reduction in quality from the 1990s as a result of that. But from the late 1990s at this school, that's when Hillary starts, and there's more of a push then towards bringing the food in-house again and ensuring that that quality is maintained as it would have been previously.
We're very lucky here because all our meals are cooked on site. We have a very dedicated team that have been with us for a long time, so we've got that family feel about meal times, which is really important. And over the years, meals have changed, so we have a lot more choice and options now. We have a very popular salad bar, so in terms of encouraging children to eat their greens and vegetables and so on, this has been a game changer. Yeah. Well, this is one of 3 mud kitchens that we have in school, because who doesn't like to make mud pies, etc. It's more than just playing with food. This is all about a sensory experience, different textures, different feels, different amounts, liquids, solids, whether it's crummy or whatever. This is highly important, because when it comes to eating, some of those are the barriers to them eating healthily. I mean, we're going to have an absolutely amazing harvest.
So how long has the allotment been here?
So it's been here for about 5 years now, and we needed this space to be a very positive space, a more social space for both our residents, because they can come and pick what they want as well, but also for our very vibrant gardening club. So getting the children to try things like the green veg, they absolutely want to try it if they've grown it themselves. It makes all the difference.
So today we are following on from the first session that we did, and I can see some of you have brought some questions as well that you're going to ask in our main activity, which are the interviews that will be happening a bit later. So we'll get you chatting to some past pupils of Field Lane, asking them about their experiences of school meals based on some of the work that you've already done, and then hopefully thinking about some ideas for the future provision as well.
So what was your thought of school dinners in your time?
I just remember it all feeling really rushed all the time, but at the same time it was fun because you were with your friends, and you know, I guess you're in the classroom all day and not having that chance to like talk to each other and be silly with each other. So I think lunchtime was a nice time to just kind of have that little bit of a laugh.
What I learned about the past was if you didn't finish your school dinners, then you get hit with a sandal or a cane.
In the present, I think it's like better because there's more varieties, and like the lunch ladies and stuff, they're not as strict as they used to be.
There should be like more options, say like all foods around the world.
So in the future, I think that there should be a robot, but like Uber Eats, but a robot.
I think that we should have like a couple of more hours, and like then after that we can relax and we can like have some time to settle back into like the school vibe.
Our research has allowed us to work out what has worked well in the past with the school meal service, and also what needs to change for the future. We've spoken to people who remember their favourite foods being cooked on site at school, about being encouraged to try new food by lunchtime supervisors, and about spending lots of time outside playing with their friends and not having to stand in queues waiting for food.
Wait, we need a spoon!
So while there were a lot of positives, it became clear during the research just how problematic school meals were for many people.
We've heard stories about pupils experiencing historic and ongoing stigmatisation because they receive free school meals as a result of their low household income. We've also heard stories about the difficulties faced by neurodivergent and disabled students who occupy dining spaces and experience supervision approaches that don't cater to their needs. And we've also heard about the continued challenges faced by parents, teachers and catering staff members to provide good quality food to school children that address issues with their development but also child poverty.
Whilst eligibility for universal free school meals has been expanding in recent years, particularly in Scotland, Wales and London, we also have so many children across the UK who do not have access to substantial and healthy meals at lunchtime in schools. We've also seen funding cuts to free provision for healthy snacks and milk, as well as food education. We know this needs to change. Schools like Field Lane are really special, going against the grain to teach their children about healthy eating, where food comes from, as well as cooking and growing skills. But not every school can do this, and it's important to ask the question whether it should be the sole responsibility of schools to teach this. Our next steps are to share our research findings with schools, as well as the all-party parliamentary group for school food. We want to connect all of these stories, experiences, memories and hopes with school food policy in the present and into the future.